what would you say if I told you that, in fact, your words can kill? That the aura that you have can ruin your entire day at work, make your entire day feel like that 8 hours is an eternity. But leadership and management skills are two separate things, and most people portray them as one. So I'm a petty officer second class in the United States Navy. One of the key things that we like to point out for everything is leadership is not management. But in fact, leadership is a step above management because a manager can sit down and watch, whereas a leader will stand up and work with and work through. So, in an article on Butts to Bosses titled Negative versus Positive Leadership, John Gordon, a renowned author, brings the point of spreading negative energy in the workplace solves nothing, that in fact it actually causes people to shut down. This is something that we see in the Navy a lot. Not only is it hard to portray to somebody sometimes how you're feeling because that person could be the reason you feel that way, but a negative leader will in its essence cause the rest of his crew to fail inevitably because of the amount of will the crew no longer has. To put it simply, imagine you're working at a place and no matter what you do, your boss is always disgruntled, his assistants are always disgruntled, and you work for these people. You're going to go into work thinking, man, today's going to suck, such and such is here. Or you're going to go in and think, why do I really work here? I should just find a different job. Well, being in the Navy, we don't normally have the opportunity to be able to say, well, I'm just going to get a different job. Because of the fact that we have to sign contracts, be they 2 to 8 years, we have to work through our negative leaders in order to enforce them to being positive ones. What most people don't realize is that this negative leadership is actually killing people. Whenever I talk to some of my shipmates, I talk to 10 people, and out of those 10 people, 9 of them said something negative about one specific leader we have because of his demeanor and how he talks to us. He treats us as though we are lessers and that we're not as smart as he is. Whereas this could easily be pushed to the side and looked at as, well, maybe he is. In essence, he should be using his language better to portray to us, well, I'm on the same level as you, because he needs to train us as leaders to be more positive leaders, because his negative leadership is literally bringing his entire shop down, which is where we come in as second-class petty officers and third-class petty officers to push these leaders that are in a negative mindset and show them how having a simple positive outlook of, well, we can do this and we'll get this out of it, instead of what the Navy has as an embrace the suck mentality. Embrace the suck in the Navy really just means, well, this is going to suck, I know it's going to suck, so there's nothing you can do about it. That's not necessarily true. Even though it's going to suck doesn't mean you have to go into it thinking, well, this is going to be terrible. You can go into it and be like, you know what? This is going to be a little bad, but I got a great group of people to work with today. Or, you know what? I'm going to eat this for lunch. A single positive thought can actually improve not just your mentality at work, but also show your coworkers and your other sailors that, hey, this guy's being positive, and positive energy, as soon as it starts filling the workplace, just explodes. It's the same way with negative energy. Whenever your negative energy comes into the workplace, you can feel the aura around those people. You can feel the fact that person is just dreary and dying and dreadful and just wants nothing to do with being at work. Whereas when you have a positive leader, he walks in, and you normally notice, oh, this guy's walking a little tall today, or he's got a pep in his step, or I wonder why this guy's so happy. And you immediately can ascertain the fact that that person is being more positive than the negative leadership. So in a study done by Nasir and Naheem in 2013 in Jordania, they took 20 men and 20 women and put them in positive and negative work environments to see how that would affect 10 men, 10 women in one positive side, and 10 men and 10 women in the negative side. They automatically noticed an increase in work performance, work ethic, a family style attitude, wanting to work together, wanting to be at work, with the 10 men and 10 women in the positive leadership side of things. Whereas the negative, you had people not wanting to be there. There were a few females and males that were thinking about, is this really right for me? Does my life even matter to this person? Bringing it so far down as to, oh, should I just stop now. If this is how life is, why would I want to be this person? It's amazing how a simple change in thought, it doesn't even have to be a very big one. A simple, this is going to be a good instead of this is going to suck. So this is where we get into the negative leadership aspect and how it's actually destroying our communities. I noticed that in the Navy, because of my primary, whenever we have a negative leader in our workplace, it almost feels like work is prison. That especially when we go underway and are gone for weeks, months at a time, who wants to be with that guy that's just always negative, always constantly condescending you, always making you feel stupid, always saying the worst possible thing and portraying it to you in such a way where it feels like you don't even matter anymore. Like your personal life, like you're a machine, essentially. Like you are this piece of a machine and you're replaceable at any given point in time. This is when I had the flip side of the coin. We have a chief that had a negative outlook on life. He was going through some stuff, and I understand that life is hard. Everybody from a leader that I personally have, everyone's allowed one bad day. You don't need your one bad day to ruin every other day or to ruin everybody else's day. But this chief, no matter how many times he would try to brighten his day, simply making his life easier, doing tasks here and there that seemed remedial but made his job a lot easier because we did the research for him. No matter what we did for him, he was always constantly condescending. He was always walking into the workplace with a negative aura. And the second that you saw him, you almost immediately knew, man, work's gonna suck today. Especially if you had the same day with him, where we stand duty days, which are 24 hours on the ship while we're in port, you'd see him and immediately be like, shit, this is gonna suck. Why didn't he take leave so I don't have to deal with him? That shouldn't be the attitude that you want towards your leadership. You should see your leadership and want to know, oh, great, I get to work with this guy today? Man, everything is going to get done. It's going to be a good day. It may not be the best day. I'm not saying everyone has to have the best day. But you know that, at the very least, your positive work environment is going to make your day better. It's not going to hinder you as a person, and it's not going to put you in a mindset that's like, well, why am I even here? And it's shocking to find that you can do something so simple as to talk to somebody, joke, or even share a friendly comment with somebody. And those things are so impacting in somebody else's personal view of you that it's like, why not? It takes 10 seconds out of your day to simply breed positivity. So this is where I read a nice article called The Shocking Statistics Behind Uprising Leadership by Joseph Wolf. He's got a simple six-step process of how, even if you're a negative leader now, you can become a positive leader simply by making some minute changes in the way that you go to work, maintain yourself at work, and then whenever you come home, make sure that you distress. So he starts off by saying that the first thing you should do is bring a positive attitude to work. Positivity, remember, positivity breeds positivity. So if you're coming in with a little pep in your step, shoulders held high, head held back, those are things that even if you don't think people notice them, your aura is something that people will feel. The energy you emit is immediately something that people feel when you walk in the workplace. The second thing he goes on to explain is that make every interaction as positive as possible. That's not saying not to have negative interactions. That's making sure that whenever, even if you have to have that negative interaction, give positive feedback at the end of it. Try to show some light at the end of it, not that it's just all negative. After step 2, he says communicate more often. Communication is key whenever it comes to leadership. It is one of the biggest things that even as human beings, no matter what job you have, you constantly are working on. Because of the fact that some of us are poor communicators, some of us are excellent communicators, it makes it hard to find a middle ground because there's no one that's really just sort of good at communicating. Most of us are either good at it or we're not good at it. This is when you need to make an intentional effort to voice your opinions or concerns, how somebody's making you feel versus how your job is making you feel. After that, he goes to explain, find a way to help direct reports or peers learn new skills. By teaching others, you can see how it can breed a positive outlook. For example, if I taught you how to build a computer, now you have something to utilize that might be what you want. You might have wanted to just have a gaming career. and I just helped you build this thing to start you on the right steps. Like that not only improved your day, it improved your livelihood in a single 1 hour process of building a PC, since they're most of the time like building blocks. Step 5 is be a role model. Be the person you want to lead. Don't be the person you think you should be when leading. When it comes down to it, you want to lead the way you would want to be treated. Most people don't want to be treated negatively. Most people don't want to have that negative stigma. And most people don't want to be treated with negative stigma. So when you come into the workplace, show that positivity. Show them that you're there to be that person you want them to be. Make yourself that role model that they look up to and not just look around. Because, especially in my style of job, sometimes you can't overlook these people. So the best thing to do is to bring that to, if they're being a negative person and they're breeding negativity in your workplace, this is to address it with them. And if they don't understand what you're saying, find a way to show them what you're saying. Because some people need to be shown. They can't just be explained to. The last step he has is create a positive team environment. The easiest way to create a positive team environment is not only to be positive at work, but do some small things outside of work that you guys like to do also. Take a day out, go golfing. Take a small trip and have pizza. Even come into work and bring donuts for one day. These small little tasks, even though they may cost you $5, $10, sometimes they're free. It would immediately improve your workplace. So this is where it goes into how do we change our negative leadership. The key, communication. No matter what we do, no matter what job you have, you are always going to have somebody that is a negative leader. And in turn, a negative leader is not a leader at all. That negative leader is actually, for the most part, a manager. They choose to sit back and watch it happen instead of being involved. They choose to be this negative person because they get to do paperwork all day while you get to go have fun. But they could easily take 10 minutes out of their day to come help or to come show you that they care. To be able to do this, talking to your leadership. Make sure that whenever you feel this coming from the people above you, even the people beside you, you don't need to be in a position of management to be a leader. The only thing you need to be a leader is to have a positive attitude, be able to show your team that we will move forward, and to help direct them in a direction. Those 3 simple things will help you to help your employees see that you are trying to lead them in a way where it's not going to bring them down a rabbit hole. This is why I implore you as the audience to pay attention whenever you're talking to people. Make sure that you're actually listening to what your supervisors, managers, your leaders are telling you. And if those leaders are portraying a negative emotion or a negative connotation of what you feel could be portrayed positively, address that with them. Not only address that with them, address that with your coworkers also, to show them that, hey, even though he said it this way, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to get the same thing done, but it's going to be awesome. We got this. So this is why I say negative leadership is a big impact in our lives. We as people, we as managers and leaders, need to take time out of our day to make sure that we're being positive, because in essence, our words can kill, and they have. And you don't want to be the person with that held over you in the end.